Now this cube, information about this cube is held in its transform. Now this little tab over here on the right is exceedingly important because it contains information about where the cube is, how it's rotated, and how big it is. So all these sort of 9 fundamental bits of information about the space uh, of the cube are held in this thing called a transform. And at the moment, the cube is at this weird position. Let's reset it so that it's actually at 0, 0, 0 on the X, Y, and Z coordinates. So it's right in the middle of world space. Now, all objects consist of this information about their size and position, but all objects also have some sort of mesh that gives them the physical appearance that they have. So this cube has a cubic mesh that sort of gives instructions about how it should be rendered, but it also has something called a mesh renderer, which is the skin that goes onto that cube. And that skin is composed of a particular material. So if we want this cube to look different, we will change the material that's wrapped around it, and we'll do that in a second. Now the other thing that a lot of objects have is a thing called a collider, and you can just see a sort of faint green outline. That's the collider of this object, and the collider enables this object to interact with other things. It enables it to bounce into things, to detect that collisions have happened, and so forth. Now let's use the transform to do some very simple operations on the uh, cube. Let's just change its position. So let's just move it left and right by changing its X coordinate, or up and down by changing its Y coordinate, or back to front by changing the Z. Let's reset after that. Obviously we can rotate. So we can rotate along the X-axis, which is the red one. So you can see that I'm turning it around on the X-axis. Or we can turn it around on the Y-axis. It will go sort of rotate side to side. And I bet you can work out what happens with the Z. And similarly with the scale, we can increase the width, we can increase the height, and we can increase the depth. So we can start making this cube into all sorts of interesting shapes. Let's reset that. Actually, let's make the cube a nice flat plane. So I'm going to make it so that it's got quite a big X. So let's make it 100X and 100 Z, and really, really thin. So just 0.01 on the Y. And you can see that what we've got now is basically a piece of paper, or a bench top, or a floor, or something just flat. So this is now, it says cube up here because that's how it was dragged in, but I'm actually going to call this floor. And all it is, it's our cube, which has been given some crazy dimensions to make it long, wide, and very, very thin.